So if you're gonna call something a battle of the sexes, you're not just selling tickets. You need to borrow from history. Stealing, essentially. You're stealing one of the most important moments tennis has ever produced. A match that wasn't just about forehands or serves or backhands, but about legitimacy, equality, and whether women even belonged in professional sports. So when we see headlines saying, "Oh, Nick Kyrgios defeats Aryna Sabalenka in the battle of the sexes," we're just confused. Because what happened in Dubai, it wasn't a battle of the sexes. It wasn't historic. It wasn't symbolic. And most importantly, it wasn't even honest. And the biggest problem wasn't even the match itself. The problem was the marketing. Now, before we get deeper into this, if you like tennis content that actually asks the right questions and spreads the proper narratives, hit subscribe. This channel exists to call out the bad takes, the bad marketing, and bad history. And well, this one, it checks all three boxes. Let's rewind to 1973. Billie Jean King versus Bobby Riggs. This wasn't an exhibition, and it wasn't for fun. This wasn't two athletes from the same agency cashing checks. Billie Jean King was fighting for the survival of women's tennis, and she represented something so much larger. She was trying to establish a women's tour, fighting for equal prize money. She was fighting to prove women belonged on the same stage as the men. And Bobby Riggs wasn't joking either. He wasn't entertaining the crowd. He was openly misogynistic, publicly claiming women were inferior athletes. And the stakes were real. If Billie Jean King lost, it would have set women's tennis back. Now, fast forward 52 years. Dubai, 17,000 seats, $800 tickets. Two players smiling, joking, dancing, underarm serving, doing the Macarena. There's no consequences, no movement, no statement. Calling this a battle of the sexes is like calling influencer boxing real boxing. It's just inaccurate, and it cheapens the original. Now, the marketing crossed from lazy to dishonest. Nick Kyrgios was ostensibly marketed as and repeatedly described as the 600th ranked player in the world. That line alone completely poisons the entire conversation. Because if you're not a tennis fan and you look at that, you see world number one, female Grand Slam champion Aryna Sabalenka loses to some guy ranked outside of the top 600. What you don't know is he fell there because he was injured for over a year. He had wrist surgery, knee issues. He's played 6 tour level matches in 3 years. The ranking is not representative of what Kyrgios actually is. Kyrgios has beaten Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, and Rafael Nadal, the 3 greatest players to ever touch a racket. Not only that, he made it to a Wimbledon final and lost to only the greatest player of all time, Novak Djokovic. So calling Kyrgios and marketing him as the 600th best player in the world is like calling a Ferrari slow because it's parked in a garage. Because it's been parked in a garage for 3 years. Now here's the irony that we don't see anybody talking about. The marketing didn't elevate women's tennis. It hurt it. Because now the casual fans walk away thinking the number one woman lost to the 600th ranked man. It's not empowering and it's misleading. If you want to celebrate Aryna Sabalenka, and you should, she's insanely talented. She played a top-level male professional under modified conditions in an exhibition against a former Grand Slam finalist. That context matters, and won 6 games. Instead, the narrative turned into rage bait, essentially. And we need to remind everyone this match had no cultural significance, no matter how much the branding tried to suggest otherwise. Sabalenka did not give a flying about equal pay. Kyrgios wasn't representing male dominance. Nobody was risking anything. It wasn't brave, it wasn't even controversial, or it shouldn't have been, and it wasn't meaningful. It was two stars from the same agency putting on a show and making money. And whatever, that's fine. We just can't pretend it's something bigger than it is. Now, here's what this event should have been called. Market it as Sabalenka versus Kyrgios, the ultimate exhibition, or Star Power Tennis Showcase, or Elite Entertainment Match. Lean into the skill, the personality, the showmanship, which is essentially what they did, just with a different sticker price. Don't borrow a name that carries 50 years of history if you have no intention of honoring it. Because when you do that, you don't elevate the present, you just diminish the past. Remember, Billie Jean King didn't win her match because it was entertaining. She won it because it mattered. Because women were being told they didn't deserve to be on the same court. They didn't deserve the same money or the same respect. And 52 years later, women's tennis doesn't need exhibitions dressed up as history. It needs honesty, it needs respect, and it needs marketers to stop assuming fans are stupid. The real damage of this event is not that Kyrgios won. Nobody cares, and it was expected, even with the 9% smaller court. The real damage is the narrative it's created. It misrepresented everything tennis stands for. Men's tennis, women's tennis, and one of the most important matches in sports history. If tennis wants new fans, it has to stop lying to the ones it already has. Because this wasn't a battle of the sexes. It was a marketing gimmick pretending to be one. And tennis, it deserves better than that. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, like and subscribe to the video and share for more content from Hot Take Tennis. See you next time.